I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, so let me be the first maybe to show you, but here we have President Donald Trump and I believe it's the Prime Minister of Australia sitting together, signing an $8.5 million deal. All right, so let me give you guys a heads up of exactly what's going on here. So today is October 20th, side note, by the way. Also, real quick, just because I want to remind you guys, it is annual open enrollment period for Medicare. You're 6 days in. It started on the 15th, I believe, goes till December 7th. Lots of stuff is changing, which we'll talk about in a different video. I just want to remind you, if you're of Medicare age or on Medicare, you need to call chapter 513-898-3528. Make sure your plan is good to go. Or if you need to change, they'll help you figure that part out. But anyway, back to what we're doing. October 20th, U.S. President Donald Trump and Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, I think is how you say his name, they signed a bilateral agreement during a White House meeting, which is great, listen, to enhance cooperation on critical minerals and rare earth elements, okay? This deal aims to secure alternative supply chains for the U.S., reducing dependence on China. I'm pretty sure that's the whole reason for everything here, right? And I think that this is another reason we should be excited about it, reducing our independence on China. Somehow it is ridiculous how much we depend on them for everything from, minerals to medicines to car parts to foods, all of it. Lowering that dependence would be amazing. Now, it does mean now we're depending on a different country, but it's not China. And I feel like that is pretty much the silver lining there, right? Anyway, it says this deal aims to secure alternative supply chains for the U.S., reducing dependence on China, which dominates global production of these materials essential for defense, technology, clean energy, and manufacturing. Think about batteries, semiconductors, electric vehicles, and whatnot. The agreement follows China's recent export restrictions on rare earths, prompting U.S. efforts to diversify sources. Now, of course, we all know that the whole reason there are the restrictions is because of the tariff war that's going on between President Trump and the overlord of China. The tariffs are going to be a good thing in the long run. Now, some people might not agree. They might be like, hey, the prices of things are going up. I'm not a fan of it. I'm having to pay more for all this other stuff. And I can understand that. Trust me, cost increases are never fun for anybody. But if it gives us leveraging power with China to be able to change things, or it gives us the ability to move over to other countries and find ways to strike deals with them as opposed to with China, then that is a very positive thing in my mind. China's going to look at this and go, well, shit, okay, I guess they don't have to depend on us significantly for the rare earth minerals. We were holding that over their heads, and oh crap, now they've gone to Australia. It could, in theory, make China go, maybe we won't be such hard asses about the whole reciprocal tariffs on our end when it comes to, the back and forth with China and President Trump, right? I'm just saying, it's a possibility. Now, according to this, these are key details of the deal in case anybody's curious, which is why we're having this conversation. So value and scope. The framework establishes a pipeline for joint projects, not joint projects, but working together projects. Let's go ahead and verify that, or what's the right word? Not verify that. Whatever, doesn't matter. Valued at up to $8.5 billion. It focuses on mining, processing, refining, and supply chain development for rare earths and other critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Now, I hear the word lithium and immediately I can feel it go into sarcastic bitch mode, because all I can think of is, what's his name? Dougie? Good old Dougie, Kamala Harris's husband, who had his fingers in a little, some company and stocks of a lithium company that really wanted what was in Asheville, North Carolina, right around the time of Hurricane Helene. And then, it took forever to get any help in there, and we couldn't figure out what was taking so long in getting the help. I'm just saying that's where we're going to leave that. Investments. Both countries will contribute $1 billion each, totaling over $3 billion over the next 6 months to kickstart immediate projects. This is expected to leverage additional private investments, potentially leading to $53 billion in total project value over time. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm going to put it out there like that. I don't know what those private investments might be. I don't know if this $53 billion in total project value over time is going to be great or not. I would like to assume that it will be beneficial for us here in the United States of America, okay? Core components based on the White House fact sheet and the Australian government outline. This is between the two of them. This is what we've come across or come up with. Joint identification of mining and processing projects in Australia, mapping supply chain gaps and investing in downstream capabilities. Think of like refining facilities to compete with China, which a little competition is always good, right? Access for the U.S. to Australia's proposed critical mineral strategic reserve, which was announced earlier in 2025. And then protection against unfair trade practices, including potential tariff exemptions for Australian exports. Now, I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, if you've ever seen the video, that makes sense. If not, it doesn't. But in the beginning, President Trump didn't want to import beef from Australia anymore. That was a thing. Well, ButcherBox, they import their beef from Australia. Australia has, I think they said, amongst the ability to supply more at once versus the smaller farms around the US, right? They also, Australia is at a stricter health code for the animals than some of the farms in the US. So ButcherBox pulls their beef and steaks and stuff, which is beef, from Australia, chicken, pork, everything else here in the US. And when President Trump said that he was going to make it so you couldn't import beef from Australia anymore, I know that some companies are like, holy crap, like what do we do now? Because a lot of companies, not just ButcherBox, but a lot of companies import their beef from Australia because of their animal wellness, whatever, for the cows, right? I have a feeling that this has just changed that significantly. Potential tariff exemptions for Australian exports. I'm going to guess that beef is going to be back on the table, no pun intended, now. Then timeline. So they negotiated this over the last 4 to 5 months with implementation starting immediately. Trump projected that within a year, the partnership would yield so much critical mineral and rare earths that you won't know what to do with them. Okay, so in theory, should the price of things start to come down because we have an abundance of rare earth and minerals? Just question to kind of keep in the back of your mind. Now, it's a non-binding policy and programmatic, whatever, framework, not enforceable like a treaty, allowing flexibility for future expansions. So the non-binding part could be, cause for concern, like wishy-washiness in the future, but hopefully not. Now, the deal aligns with broader U.S.-Australia ties under the AUKUS, A-U-K-U-S Pact, though submarine discussions were separate, so that's not anything to do with this. It counters China's 90% plus control over rare earth processing by tapping Australia's vast reserves, which is the world's third largest, by the way. Trump highlighted it as a retaliatory step against Beijing's restrictions amid threats of 100% plus tariffs on Chinese imports. So the White House has a whole fact sheet up. If you want to look at the Australian prime ministers, they got a whole fact sheet up too. But I think this is good that we have a president who is finding ways to expand where we rely upon, who and where we rely upon for the things that we need here in the US. It's not feasible for us to pull the rare earth minerals and metals and whatever else is from our own soil. We might have some, but we don't have everything. And we do need the things that Australia has to offer. And Australia, I'm sure, needs things that we have to offer. So this is going to be beneficial for everybody. I'm sure people of Australia probably won't love it, but it is what it is, unfortunately for them. The deal is going to be good. That's what I'm going to go with. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to help us here in the US. And I think it's great. Take some of the power away from China, right? Right. So that's the information of what has happened there with President Trump and Australia. A little short, whatever. That's all. Love you guys. Goodbye.